Peace and blessings to you guys. Decided to do a quick live today since I have a little time to play with. I know I haven't really been doing the lives on a regular basis like I have in the past, just have a lot going on. But I was just, sitting here and actually over the past few days, just really thinking about the state of our community as a people. You know, so much going on. And as you can see in the topic or the subject line, YAH help us. YAH help us. And next to it, I put the scriptures of Jeremiah chapter 16. And before I get into my thought, just for those that are not familiar with Jeremiah, especially Jeremiah 16, the Most High gave Jeremiah a set of instructions I don't think most of us would be able to adhere to. He told Jeremiah not to marry, so he couldn't have children. Told him not to honor the feast days with Judah. He had Jeremiah separated from Judah. Judah was off the chain family. When you really study the book of Jeremiah, not just Judah, but the northern kingdom, which is you'll see in Jeremiah referred to as Israel, and the southern kingdom, Judah, they were off the chain. The Most High in Jeremiah chapter 2 referred to them as a degenerate plant. In other words, a parasite. A parasite, where you get the plant mistletoe. The mistletoe is a parasite, right? It clings to other plants. And what this plant does, it begins to really become rooted into the branches of another plant or a tree, and it sucks the nutrients out of it. It can deform it and so forth. It's a very poisonous plant. That's what when we start thinking about the mistletoe, that's what a mistletoe is. It is a parasitical plant. When you think about that comparison to our people, we are like parasites when it comes to jumping on the bandwagon of other cultures. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that? So many cultures, so many different groups would love to have our skin complexion, would love to have our hair, would love to have the shape like how our women are shaped, would love to have these thick lips that we have, that we are blessed with, but we would rather try to do what the other communities are doing. Never in a million years I would have thought that we'll have women in our community doing implants, men doing implants, trying to be like others while others want what we have. We are a parasitical group of people. We jump on everything, everything. Again, never in a million years I would have thought that we see the behaviors that we see today. Never thought I would see this. That we are, or really, maybe it's already been, these things that have already been taking place. And as you get older, you really start paying attention to the details. But family, as a people, we are parasites. We have a spirit of parasites. I think about what's happening, for example, in this election cycle. On one side, you have our people still caught in, between two opinions, like the Israelites in the book of Kings, 1 King chapter 19. On one side, you have our people on fire, wanting to prove that Kamala Harris is not black, and driven by that. Where if we want to go off of that, neither one of them are. But then on the other side, you have our people running with this craziness about the Haitians. When you think about the Haitians, the comments that the former president and vice president are putting out there about Haitians eating dogs, eating cats, eating pets. Who are the main people jumping on that foolishness? On both sides of the aisle. Both sides of the aisle. We are a group of parasites in terms of our community is dealing with a parasitical spirit. We know how to go above and beyond and over the top to tear down our own people. Look at what's happening in the music industry. Look at what's happening in the music industry. Look at what's happening in the comedy arena. Look at what's happening wherever we are. We tend to take it to 2 and 3 levels up. We turn that fire up when it comes to, when it comes to our own people. Makes me think about slavery. Some of you guys may not be familiar with slavery in terms of just how evil, just how much they developed a lot of the strongholds that we see today in our community. Well, for some of you guys that may not be familiar with the behaviors of the slave master, one of the things that he would do whenever he passed judgment, so to speak, and want to punish our people, he had our people doing the punishment. If he wanted our people, whether it's a man or a woman, to be whipped, he had someone from our community doing the whipping. Had our people. And we see that today. And we always have to amplify things. And when you think about what the master would do to that Negro whom he wanted to beat his own people, he would threaten that slave and tell that slave, if you don't do it, if you ease up, or if you don't carry it out with the intensity that I want you to do, that I'm going to do it and I'm going to kill you. I'm going to do it to you. Come on, family. And we operate and behave in that same behavior today. Many of us had to go through that same mindset that our parents were teaching us as we got disciplined with the switch. Think about it. The slave master would make the Negro beat his own people, get the whip and beat his own people. And many of you guys that grew up in the 70s and 80s, who got the switch to beat you with? Who went and got that switch? Either it was going to be you or it was going to be one of your siblings that went out and got the switch, who was not getting the beating. And then they'll bring that switch back for your parents for your parents, whoever is the one that are doing the discipline, for them to do the beating. Now, moderators, let me make this clear. Anyone that's posting any Free Palestine ads or comments there, remove them, block them, because we're not about Free Palestine. I'm not about either side of it. I'm not supporting one side or the other. So I want to make it clear. I am not supporting one side or the other. So please, those that are promoting Palestine, please, I don't support Palestine. I don't support the Israelis. I don't support one or the other. So I just want to make it clear. I'm not taking one side or the other. No disrespect to anyone. I'm focusing on my people right now. So I want to make sure that moderators, if you see anyone that's posting any type of Free Palestine, remove them. If you see anyone posting anything in regards to pushing the Israelis, remove them. We don't do that on this platform. We don't support Democrats. We don't support Republicans. We don't support the Israelis. We don't support Palestinians. We don't support neither side of those coins. So when you come to this platform, we're just going to give you the truth. So again, going back to my point, who is the one that went out and got that switch? Who is the one that had to go find a belt? Who was the one that had to go find whatever your parents, I grew up, my grandmother raised me, or whoever's that guardian over you, who had to go out and get that? And the psychological thing that it would do to you is that you could not come back with a small switch. You could not come back with a tiny little belt. You had to go out and pick something for whoever's going to discipline you to be satisfied that this is going to do the damage. This is going to be what I serve the purpose of really getting you to understand, right? The depth of how can I put it, chastisement you're going to receive. But think about the psychological things that it did to that child. And many of us are what? Have perpetuated that behavior to the next generation, thinking that that was okay. Well, how does that impact us today? Think about what we see, family. Think about who's the one that always takes things to an amplified level when it comes to our own people, our people. Think about it. Look at everything that you see that's going around. Look at what you see again within the comedy arena. Remember when Cat Williams did his interview with Shannon Sharp, right? Who was taking things, who was amplifying that thing? Even right now, you know, with the thing that's going on with P. Diddy, you got so many people out here trying to be reporters, trying to be journalists. And again, I want to make this clear. I don't condone any of those things. I understand the music industry, been in there, understand all of that. All of that. But see, it's our people that want to be reporters, our people that want to be the first one to beat you to the punch, and we're all over the place, have no clue about what's going on. Don't have no clue about what's going on. Don't have no clue about what's going on. But who is the ones that are amplifying the thing? That's the point I want to focus on. I don't want to focus on whatever's going on with P. Diddy, whatever he's done, sick, perverted. We already understand that. But it's always our people that amplify everything. We want to be armchair quarterbacks, or should I say armchair prophets, or after the fact, next day prophets that say, see, I told you so. See, this is the climate of social media now. We got so-called prophets going at other so-called prophets, trying to call each other out, saying who is wrong and who is right. Man, this is the behavior that I can see and understand why the Most High had to tell Jeremiah, separate from Judah. Separate. When you honor the feast days, separate yourself from honoring it with Judah. When, you know, don't have any children, don't marry anyone, separate, because I want you to focus on what you need to focus on. That's why the Most High did it. He wanted Jeremiah to focus on the task that was at hand. And it was a daunting task. But can you imagine the responsibilities that was on his shoulders? This degenerate plant that is referred to as Judah, that is referred to as Israel, and combined the Israelites. This degenerate plant that has a history of being a parasite, jumping onto everyone else's culture, but not embracing your own culture that the Most High has created for us. We'll jump on everything and anything, especially when you start thinking about this, the Bible. You have people in this awakening who have never read the Bible, but they will read the Apocrypha. who have never read the Bible but will read the book of Enoch, who have never read the Bible but will read the book of Jubilees, and all over the place. Come on, family. Never even read the very first book of the Bible. Come on, family. You got people that are saying that they're called to be prophets, but they can't even define what a prophet is. You got people that are calling themselves pastors, but cannot biblically explain what a pastor is. You got pastors that are teaching that we are not under the law, but then they have bylaws inside their church. Always our people that take things to a whole nother level, and especially when it comes to our people. That's why the Messiah, Hamashiach, had to tell his disciples, especially when we see love your neighbor, pray for your enemy. The Hebrew word is YAH, which means opposite tribe. He was telling those disciples, those Negroes, remember, those that are in the other tribes of Israel, they're still your brother. Sometimes we forget, even though we may not be in the same area of operation, or whether it's work, whatever the case may be, or even in ministry, we are still brothers and sisters. Even though you may not live in the community I live in, you may live in down south, I may live up north. I may live in the East Coast, you may live on the West Coast. I may live in the United States. You may live in Haiti. You may live in the Caribbean islands. You may live in Brazil, which, you may live in, Spain, Portugal, wherever we are scattered to, we are still the same people. Negroes. This is why, like I said, just doing a little meditation and thinking about this. This is why I'm doing this live. YAH, help us. YAH, help us. YAH, help us. No matter where we are, we still have the same problems. We have to amplify it. For some reason, we are programmed, we have been hacked, that when it comes to our community, amplify the intensity. YAH, help us. YAH, help us. Come on, family. It's like you can't even post a video. You post a video giving teaching, giving fullness of exactly what's what. Who are the ones in the comment section that are acting crazy? Many of them our own people who don't read, who don't study, but yet to call names. I'm just telling it like it is, family. You got conversations about where is the biblical Israel? Is it South Africa? Is it West Africa? Is it Ethiopia? These are the conversations that are happening right now when we have bigger issues to deal with. But we're trying to have conversations and debates on where is Israel? Oh, I got a revelation of where Israel is. Israel is in South Africa. Israel's in West Africa. Come on, family. Come on, family. We got so many different things to deal with right now, and that's the foolishness. I'm calling it like it is. That's the foolishness. The foolishness that's going on in our community. Even though the scripture says that we were going to be, we're going to be tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine. I'm going to say this to whoever made the comment. Look, I'm not going to debate on where true Israel is, but I can tell you it's not in South Africa. I can tell you it's not in the mountains of Ethiopia, and I can tell you that it's not in West Africa. So let that marinate, and I can do it with accuracy of the scriptures. But my point that I'm making is, why are we even entertaining that stuff when we got bigger things to deal with? Come on, family. Do you know that people are still getting lynched? Someone just got hanged a month ago. A brother man just got hanged a month ago. Do you know yesterday an innocent man, Negro, was killed, was murdered by the judicial system, that the governor would not pardon, that the prosecutors were trying to tell them that he is an innocent man, and yet we're sitting up here having debates about foolishness about where Israel is located at. Come on, family. Come on, majoring in the minors, parasitical plants. That's right, I'll say it again. We are operating in a parasite spirit, and this is why the Most High had to tell the prophet, do not celebrate the feast days with Judah. Do not marry anyone. Don't marry anyone. Don't marry no one. Didn't say get married, but he said don't marry anyone. And yet we see this playing out. I believe we're in a worse condition now than what Israel was during the time when Jeremiah was given that task by the Most High. Come on, family. Come on, family. We're majoring in the minors. Agendas behind a lot of this foolishness that we see. I'm not going to call it out. I can. But that's besides the point. I want to stay on the course of understanding, family, for us to focus, for us to understand we need to stop majoring in the minors. YAH, help us. That's similar to the shortest prayer that you see in the Bible, right? You'll see that the scriptures, right, from an ancient Hebraic perspective, you'll see Adonai Yasha, which transliterates to Lord, save me. That's the shortest prayer in the scriptures. So when I say YAH, help us, I'm thinking about that situation when Peter decided to walk on the water based upon instructions in the midst of what became a storm, began to drown, began to sink, and he had the shortest prayer that you see in the scriptures. The translation says YAH, or should I say Adonai, or should I say Lord, save me? The ancient Hebrew is Adonai Yasha, or Yasha Adonai, save me. Come on, family. We got to do better, family. We got to do better, family. We have to do better. Again, that's why I'm in a place, that's why I'm in a position that I'm in. That's why, guys, you probably noticed, I really don't deal with a lot of people. I don't deal with a lot of groups. I'm very selective, and you need to be selective as well. I don't listen to any and everybody. Even when I was a young minister, guess what? Growing up in the church, I didn't listen to TBN. I didn't watch any TD Jakes videos or Creflo. I didn't watch none of that junk. I studied my word, and whatever the pastor that I was up under, I listened to whatever he taught, but I studied my word for myself. I didn't listen to this every wind of doctrine that was being tossed to or fro, tossed about. I never been one, and I get a lot of videos of people who ask me to watch this video. I don't watch videos. And this is not disrespecting anyone. I don't watch video. I don't watch other people's videos. I don't do that. Unless there's something that stands out and I need to address. Come on, family. Come on, family. Come on, family. And you know what, family? The reason why we have this is because we have allowed it. We as a people continue to allow it. Let me say that again. We as a people, we continue to allow it. If we want to talk about false prophets, false prophetess, guess what? We are the ones that continue to allow it. If we want to talk about crooked pastors. Guess what? We are the ones that allowed it to happen. If we want to talk about the P. Diddy's, the R. Kelly's, and all of that, that's what that came up in our community. We are the ones that allowed it to happen. If we want to talk about, these different things that are coming to our community, the tactics of the Democrats, the tactics of the Republicans, guess what? We keep allowing the foolishness to happen. If we want things to change, we have to start with us. We can't expect someone else to come into our community to help us change. No, they're going to come with an agenda. No matter how you look at it, if they from another community, another group of people, or should I say, whether it's, if they Caucasians, whatever the case may be, they're going to always, when it's all said and done, they're going to default to protecting their community. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have to default, our number one default, getting back or reset to the factory defaults. We need to start with first making sure our community is good before we can start endorsing anyone else that's outside of our community. We got to start understanding what we need to do within our community. That's biblical. When Nehemiah, you guys could fact check me. When Nehemiah went into prayer after asking his brethren what is the status of Israel, and when he was told the status of Israel being in ruins, he went into prayer and he began to fast. Coming out of that, guess what happened? He got the vision from the Most High on how to restore his people. He went to Jerusalem. He went to Israel, went to Jerusalem, which is the heart of Israel. He went there and the place was in ruins. Guess what he did? He didn't focus on the internal bickering of who's messing around with who's messing around with who has this property over this property. He wasn't dealing with those things. The first thing he did was he had to get the people on the same page to recognize our community is in ruins. Let's focus on this big thing, secure the city first, then let's deal with our internal battles. Let's first come together, understand we have to secure our city. Let's get rid of the Sambalots, those that are opposing our community. Now, once we get the wall secured, now let's deal with whatever family business we need to deal with, free from anyone that's not part of our community. That's what he did. He also kicked out the money changers, those that was not part of our community that was selling on the Shabbat, those that was not part of our community setting up gas stations, those that were not part of our community setting up Family Dollars, those that were not part of our community setting up dialysis centers, those that were not part of our community shutting down, the healthy foods for our supermarkets and farmers markets in our community and forcing our people to go and eat food that we know we should not be eating. He pushed those guys outside of the community and literally told them, if you guys read Nehemiah, you'll see it. Nehemiah said, Nehemiah 13, he said, if you guys come back inside this community and bring this stuff inside this community, I'm going to lay hands on you. And he wasn't talking about putting holy oil on his hands and touching their foreheads. He was letting them know he was going to kick them out. Don't we see that happening? I could go right down the line, right? The liquor stores, the fast food restaurants, all those different things. Chinese restaurants, all these different businesses that are prospering in our community, that is fulfilling the passage, that are fulfilling the consequences in Deuteronomy chapter 28. The strangers that are among us going to what? Become the lenders. Come on, family. Come on, family. Yah, help us. Adonai, Yasha. Adonai, Yasha. There's more to our people, man. There's more to us. There's something special about you, Judah, but the problem is we don't see it. Many of us don't want to see it. Many of us are scared when we see it. Then we'll have a level of accountability. Then you'll have responsibilities delegated to you, because now you have to operate in being what you know, knowing that you are special. Come on, family. Come on, family. I know I'm roughing up some feathers. I don't care. I really don't care. I really don't care. Do you know it was a Negro that actually told other communities, other businesses like Bamberger, Sears, and all those different white businesses at the time, how to sell to our people? Do you know that? Do you know that? It was a brother man who went to the retail businesses, did a public announcements for the retails, showing them how to sell to a Negro. Said all you have to do is you can take anything you want. You can take the cheapest item, but put a name on it. They'll buy it. Are we not seeing that today? YAH, help us, family. YAH, help us. YAH, help us, family. YAH, help us. And we still majoring in the minors. Babylon. We sit up here talking about flee Babylon. Where you going to go at? Where you going to go to? Jeremiah dealt with Babylon, and they were told to flee the physical Babylon and go back to Israel. Go back to their native land, their native territory. Well, guess what? Our native territory, our native land was taken from us. But when the scriptures and Revelation deals with flee Babylon, is dealing with the systems of men. These systems of men, Babylon, those tentacles stretch well beyond the United States. It stretched well beyond Great Britain. It stretched well beyond Russia. Guess what? Those tentacles are in Africa. Many of those African countries, those tentacles are all around this world. Babylon, the system, is all around this world. But what it's telling us, get out of these systems. Remove ourselves from these systems. Flee the Babylonian system. Religion is a Babylonian construct. Let me say that again. Religion, these so-called Abrahamic faiths, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Catholicism, all of that is part of the Babylonian system of men that have been used to justify enslaving our community, justified in using a doctrine to cause us to always take things to the high level when it comes to our own brothers and sisters and protect them. No other nation can teach us what love is. Let me say that again. No other nation should be coming into our community teaching us what love is. No other nation. We should be doing that. Our children should not have to hear what love is outside of the house. It should start from within the house. No other community, especially if you descendants of those that have enslaved our people, should be teaching our people what redemption is, what salvation is, what forgiveness is, what repentance is, because it's going to always be taught in the way that's going to cover their ancestors. I'll say it again. When another nation or other communities that have participated in our demise, when they teach what love, forgiveness, and all those things are, they are going to always teach it in a way that's going to always let their community off the hook. YAH, help us. YAH, help us. YAH, help us. YAH, help us. I'm blowing this trumpet as we get ready to get into the celebrations of the blowing of the trumpets. I'm going to do a teaching on the truth about what blowing of the trumpets mean. YAH, help us. With that being said, family, love you guys. I'll do a live soon. I'll schedule some lives. Have a blessed day, remainder of the day. Shalom.